isolated situation. It's what I've done with accused number 1. But insofar as the question that he asked me with accused 2, I've answered it. But I'm showing objectivity when I'm mentioning the other accused to say it was not the first time, because I'm saying this, my lord, because the impression I'm getting is as if the impression that I'm getting is being created. It's as if there was a special arrangement with accused number 2. That's all that I was getting from my lord.
Engikuphendulayo ke uma ngiphendula lo mbuzo othi ke ukusuka ngazo i24 June 2020 ive lalanga ke kwenziwa ngalo istatement sokugunyuka ngaphambi kwayo imagistrate uConye bayoshaya ke makuyofika ke nge27 ka October 2020 kungani ke phakathi kwaleso sikhathi ukuthi engayanga kuyobingelela imanje mayelana naleli ke ikhaya usuyaphendula ukuthi kwakungeneleke umuva kokuthi kwenziwa ke lesa statement kuyena ke umagistrate uConye kwakusekhona ke nokunye ekwakusafanele ukuqinisekiswe ke kubhekwe asikuthi ke kwakunendlela ethize awayenakwa ngayo ke noma ekwakwenziwa ngayo kuyena ke umsolwa wesibili ngingakho ke sengisho nabanye ke abasolwa ukuthi nakubona ke kwenzeka kanjalo hayi ukuthi ngikhuluma ngomsolwa wokuqala ngingabuzwanga kodwa ngifuna nje ukuthi ngichazeke indlela ukuthi kwenzeka kanjani ke ngoba ke kwakusafanele ukuthi nophenyo luqhubeke lungekaqedwa ngaleso sikhathi.
And lastly, my lord, with regard to accused number 2, to this question that Advocate Mnisi is asking, I was not investigating accused 2 in isolation of the other accused. I think that will assist, because it wasn't like I was sitting and saying now I'm focusing on accused 2 only. Collectively, as the evidence was coming your way, I was investigating all of them from 1 up to 5, especially after the confession of accused 2. So it was a collective investigation.
Futhi ke okugcina ke ukuphendula ke lo mbuzo engibuza uyena ke Advocate Mnisi kwakungasibona ke ukuthi ngiphenya ke umsolwa wesibili ke ngokwahlukile ke ngangaphenya bonke ke kusuka kokuqala kuyofika ke kwehlanu ngesikhathi esisodwa ungasikuthi ke ngibaphenya ke ngokwahlukahlukene.
Thank you. Now you're saying on the 23rd of June 2020, accused number 2, actually you put it like this, that there was an arrangement for a confession that was facilitated, or an arrangement for a confession that was made with an attorney that accused number 2 on the 24th should go and appear before a magistrate for a confession. Is that true or correct?
No, I think maybe there might have been a misunderstanding. I'm saying, my lord, on the 23rd, so I was referring to the confession of Mrs. Kronye to say it came as a result of the discussions that took place on the 23rd between accused and his attorney with the state. And then out of those discussions, it gave rise to the confession of the 25th and the discussions that followed. That's what I was saying.
Engikushilo ukuthi ke kwistatement lesi esenziwa nge24 zika June 2020 phambi kwayo imanje uConye ukuthi lokho kwaqala nge23 zika June 2020 phakathi komsolwa ummeli wakhe kanye nombuso ukusuka lapho ke kwasekwenziwa le statement ke ngelanga elandelayo nokuqhubeka ke emuva kwalokho.
Thank you. Now I just want to paraphrase what you've just said now so that I'm able to follow you. You are saying on the 23rd there was a discussion between accused number 2's attorney and himself with the prosecutors for a confession that was supposed to, or about a confession that had to be taken on the 24th of June 2020, not so?
The discussions, my lord, because I don't want to say it incorrectly so that we don't find ourselves bumping it with Mr. Mnisi.
Yes.
The discussions was insofar, and I'm careful to go there, my lord, because I was told by the prosecution that because those discussions in terms of section of 105A were not finalized, one should not venture into that. So that's why I'm trying to put my weight as amicably and lawfully without being prejudicial to the accused, is that there were discussions that were leading to the 105. And that's how the confession of the 24th of June came into it. So it wasn't simply about the confession. There were discussions. Out of those discussions, certain things then were then put into motion by that.
Lokho ke uma ngiphendula ke ukuthi ngifuna ukuthi ngisho kahle ke ngendlela ke ngoba ke umbuso ungibhayisile ukuthi ke kwakunezinkulumo ke ezazikhona ngazo i23 June 2020 la khona ke kunestatement ke noma ke lokho kubizwa ukuthi ke isection 105 phecelezi ke la umuntu avuma khona ke kulezo inkulumo lezo ke kwase kuholela ekuthini kube nalesi statement esithathwayo ke noma esibhalwa imanje sange 24 ka June 2020.
Thank you. Now, on your own version, you're saying that there was an attorney involved. So I take it that was Mjiyako.
Yes.
Mjiyako ke ummeli lo enkhuluma ngayo engithi wayekhona.
Now, on the 16th, accused number 2 get arrested by Mahane and Mapena. On the 18th, as per your version, you're meeting him at Carlton, where you had that interview with him. On the 19th, he appears before Rapari, 19th June 2020, he appears before Rapari for an alleged confession. On the 23rd of June, there is an attorney. There is Mr. Mjiyako. Mr. Mjiyako now appears at the scene or in the act And there are those little arrangements that we have discussed about the possible plea bargaining arrangement and the confession. Now, would you recall that this time was at the time of COVID?
Yes, I do recall. That's correct.
Uyasho-ke ukuthi ngeyi-16 zikaJune 2020 umsolwa uyaboshwa uyena-ke umukhana kanye namabhena ngeyi-18 zikaJune wena uhlangana naye-ke ngeyi-19 zikaJune 2020 uphambi kodaphathu la eyokwenza-ke istatement ekhona ngeyi-23 zikaJune 2020 uyasho-ke ukuthi kunomnweli umjiyakho kunalamalungiselelo noma kuyakhulunywa-ke lapho ngabe uyakhumbula-ke ukuthi ngaleso sikhathi leso-ke kwakungesikhathi sayo-ke i-COVID? Yebo, ngiyakhumbula lokho.
Thank you, Madam. There's an indication from my colleague here, Mr. Ramusipili, that apparently accused number one wants to.
No, it's fine, no problem.
To talk to him. Try the number two, not number one.
Thank you, Madam.
As it please the court, Madam. Thank you. Now, you were agreeing, said that this was the time when the pandemic was at its peak, not so. And at that time, visitations, police stations, hospitals and everywhere were very restricted, not so.
That is correct, my lord.
Uyavuma ukuthi ngaleso sikhathi-ke ukuthi-ke kuhanjwe kuyiwe endaweni-ke noma-ke kuyobhizithwa khona-ke ama-police station imitholampilo-ke ukuthi nje kwakunemithetho-ke ukuthi-ke ngayo lokho. Yebo, ngiyavuma.
Maybe before I proceed, on the 23rd of June, when there was this attorney, Mr. Mchiyako, made an arrangement with the state with regard to the possible plea bargain and the subsequent confession, were you part of the discussions?
No, my lord. No. So I was part in this sense that I'm the one who went to the police station after I received a call.
Yes.
That there was an attorney.
Yes.
Who wants to consult with accused two. And I gave that permission, my lord, regardless of the pandemic that was in place, because it's constitutional rights to say if someone wants to consult with his legal representative. I think the Constitution, as Advocate Mnisi has said, is a supreme document of this country, so you need to adhere to that. So I allowed that permission. Now, after I got there and I was introduced to this advocate, and I've indicated the sequence of events, my lord, in my evidence in chief, to say as I walked in, accused two said, "This is my attorney," and then we interacted with Mr. Mjiako. After I verified his status, that indeed, where I asked him to identify himself, verify that indeed he was an attorney.
But Brigadier, that's the problem that I have with you. That my question was very simple: were you part of these discussions or not? Yes or no?
But my lord, I'm putting it in context.
Remember, you said the other time that you wanted me to respect you, and so, and I'm trying the best that I can to respect you. But respect is a two-way traffic. If I ask you a simple thing, were you part of the discussions, yes or no? And then you start to give a sermon in circumstances where a sermon has not been requested for you.
My lord,
then you come back and say, I don't respect you. Can you please adhere to the question? Were you part of the discussions or not? No.
There's a good case, my lord. Brigadier Gininda is trying to give an explanation, a comprehensive explanation. It's not
but
just...
my lord, who said wants that explanation? Because this is a simple
Mr.
question.
Mnisi,
yes or no?
I've gone too old. How can you guys speak at the same time, all of you?
Yes.
I mean, when I say it's like in a tavern, then I'm told I've never been in a tavern.
Yes.
You can, in a court of law, if your colleague is on the floor, you don't interrupt him. You can raise your hand to show that you want a follow-up, which you will make. Yes. But once he's still speaking and you also speak, yeah, unless you're in the South African Parliament.
Yes. My lord, the witnesses asked that Mr. Mjiako made arrangements with the state on the 23rd of June for a possible plea bargain and confession, and he's asked, were you part of the discussions? Now he's trying to explain, my lord, as to what the circumstances were. It's not just a simply, yes and no answer. And we submit, my lord, that this witness is entitled to expand on his answer.
Yes, Mr. Mnisi.
I'm so shocked, my lord. really shell-shocked, because I would expect that Mr. Gininda, with the experience that he has, is a court eagle. He has been to court on a number of occasions. He can bear testimony to that. He knows that I know that. The manner in which he's supposed to respond to questions, my lord. When I ask him, were you part of the discussions, yes or no? Answer is simple, yes, I was part of them. No, I wasn't part of them. If the answer is yes, then I would ask him to explain what transpired there, or how did you get to be part of that meeting? But what is happening here is really shocking, my lord. I really must say it is shocking. But nonetheless, you can explain, Mr. Gininda.
So, my lord, let me start on this aspect. I do appreciate when Mr. Mnisi said he's doing his best to respect me, because that's what I've been giving him, and I appreciate that we'll respect each other. So that, and I will ask that we maintain that standard. You'll get definitely the same treatment from me in terms of respect. Now, giving an explanation, my lord, it's not a sign of disrespect, because at nowhere do I cast aspersions to him as an advocate or his client. I'm responding and giving explanation based on how I understood the question to be putting. There are instances, my lord, which Advocate Mnisi has put to me, questions where I've answered yes or no. Simple. I've answered them. The record can speak for itself. But when he asks me a question which I see, if I say no, it will give a wrong impression. Even if I say yes, I need to qualify it, my lord. Because, for example, the question that has been put to me, yes, I was not part of the discussion when Advocate Mjako was dealing now with the advocate. But there were times when I was involved, and that's the context I wanted to put to him, to say I was involved up to here. When the time came where he wanted to know who are the advocates involved, and I communicated those details to him, then there was a discussion now between him with the advocates. I was not involved, but one needs to put it into proper context, my lord. Because if I say no, and then later evidence comes up to say, but no, you were present when this part was said, it looks like I'm misleading the court. And if I say yes, as Advocate Mnisi is saying, then you'll say, what was discussed? I do not know what he said when he spoke to the advocate. That is why I wanted to put the proper context, my lord. Nothing more. But if the question, my lord, simply requires yes or no, I will not be funny or difficult with Advocate Mnisi. I will answer it as such. But if I see that, if I say yes or no, it may give a wrong impression if you don't put the context. I'll just plead with him to be patient with me, my lord, because I'll only give an explanation when I feel it's necessary, nothing more.
Uma ngabe ngichaza-ke akusona-ke noma lokho akutshengisi-ke ukuthi-ke angihloniphike kuyena-ke u-Advocate Mnisi, kodwa-ke uma ngichaza kusube nje ngifisa ukuthi-ke ngingathumeli-ke umlayezo ekungasiwona, ngoba-ke uma sesiqhubeka-ke kuzotsho kodwa-ke cha uthe wawungekho noma ungasiyona-ke ingxenye, noma wawungekho-ke lapho umjiyakho wayekhona-ke, ngoba-ke ngangikhona ukuthi noma efuna ukwazi-ke ukuthi obani abameli noma-ke ama-advocates ngamtshela-ke ukuthi awobani, kodwa uma esikhulumisana nabo-ke ngangingekho lapho. Mina-ke kwakuqinisekisa emuva nje kokuthi ngitsheliwe ukuthi kunommeli ofuna ukuthi akhulumeke naye wakhe, noma-ke kwakuyileso sikhathi leso sayo-ke i-COVID. Kodwa-ke njengoba ebeshilo-ke advocate ukuthi-ke noma sihola wona-ke umthethosisekelo, ngavuma-ke ukuthi-ke ummeli lowo akakhulume naye. Yilokho ebengifisa ukuthi ngikusho noma ngikuchaze.
Thank you. Now, Brigadier, I'm not even so sure whether you'll be able to answer this question. What do you know? How did Mr. Mjako know about accused number 2's incarceration for him to have gone to him on the 23rd of June 2023 to go in request to talk to him?
No, I don't know, my lord. I wouldn't know. And I didn't inquire about it, my lord.
Ukuthi wazi kanjani-ke uMr Mjako mayelana nokuboshwa kwakhe umsola wesibili ukuthi ayohlangana naye-ke angazi-ke futhi angaze ngikubuze-ke lokho.
Thank you. Just a second, my lord. You have admitted that I'm sorry, ma'am. Before I proceed to the question, probably there's a bomb that is coming.
What's your time?
12. As it pleases the court, my lord.
Yeah.
I realize, my lord, that it is getting a little bit hotter in the kitchen. For me, for Mr. Ramusipili, and for Mr. Ntanzi. And we don't want to look like we're running around, my lord. But the topic is getting very interesting indeed. May I therefore request, my lord, that owing to the fact that we only left with 20 minutes to go, we then take an adjournment. There is adjournment as per the arrangement. Then we do what we need to do. We do what we
continue
need to
until 1 o'clock, please. Okay.
Thank you, my lord.
Yeah, because there are critics here who are saying every time you want to cough, there is an adjournment. They adjourn this. So let's go until 1.
So you're saying you would really know how did it happen that Mr. Mjiaku should know about accused number 2's incarceration?
No, my lord.
uyashoka ukuthi awazi ukuthi kwenzeka kanjani ke ukuthi uMjiyako azi ngokuboshwa kwamsola wesibili cha.
Let's put a comma there. Let's talk about Mr. Mjiaku. Look at me.
Yes, my lord.
Look at me.
Must I look at you?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, I'm here.
Mr. Mjiaku.
Yes, sir.
You know him?
No, I don't, my lord. I think in my evidence in chief during the trial within trial, that question was asked by Advocate Mshololo specifically as to whether I ever worked with him and so forth. All I could say, my lord, is that I've never worked with him. I've never came across him when he was in the police, and I did not know him up to the day when I met him. This is thing that I've read about him, because it became the public knowledge that he was once in the police working with CI. But me, myself, my lord, standing here up to today, I never worked with him. We never interacted, be it on operational matters or even in meeting. So I did not know him. That's the honest truth, my lord.
Mangikhuluma nje iqiniso ke ngicabanga ukuthi lo mbuzo ngawubuzwa ngaphambilini uyena ke uAdvocate Mshololo ngasho ke ukuthi ke ngezwa ukuthi ke wayeke wasebenza ke emaphoyiseni kodwa mina kangaze ngihlangane naye noma ukuthi sihlanganiswa umsebenzi ke kuze kube ilalanga leliya engahlangana naye ngalo kodwa ke yena nje umuntu engangingamazi.
So what you're then saying is that you met him for the first time on the 23rd of June 2020 as an attorney who came and requested to see Mr. Accused number 2.
Yes, as a person, I met him on that cycle, but even as a person, individual, as I said, my lord, we never came across each other.
Mina ke umuntu engakaze nje ngihlangane naye ke ngaphambilini kodwa ke ngalela nje manje ngisho ke ukuthi ngangihlangana naye ihlandla lokuqala.
Thank you. Now you have admitted that it is imperative. That was at the onset. I think that was my very first question when we started. That when a person gets arrested, he would have to be. Actually, the imperatives why he's getting searched. Number 1, it was for security reasons. That actually came from me. Number 2, you went on and described the processes and other 2 reasons beyond what I gave, which was security reason, for the reason why it should be searched. To seize the items that are in his possession, and if those items are supposed to be used as exhibits, then they get registered in SAP 13. If those items are items that needs to be retained to him after the completion for the reason or the completion of the reason why he was arrested, then those items are noted. I think you said SAP 22 or something like that.
Yes, prisoner property, correct, my lord.
Yes, and then they will be taken back to him or to his relative. Now, accused number 2 gets arrested on the 16th by Sergeant Mohane and Sergeant Mabena. In terms of your explanation, they would have searched him and they would have confiscated everything that they needed to confiscate from him, except for the clothes that he was wearing. Should that not have been the case?
That should be the case, my lord.
Thank you.
Uma uchaza ke manje bambopha ke nge16 ka June 2020 uMkhana noMabena uma ngendlela ochaza ngayo ke nomosho ngayo kufanele ukuthi bamseshile ke base bethatha konke ke bathola kuyena ngaphandle nje baloko ayegqokile yebo.
Now, on the 17th, they have an interview with him in the boardroom at Pretoria North. On the 9th, on the 18th, they are taking him to Carlton Vale, where you also met them. Then on the 19th of June, he appears before Mr. Rapado, and then the 23rd of June, the attorney comes and sees him. Now, from the moment he's getting arrested 2, the day on which this attorney presents himself, Mr. Mjiyako, Mjiyako, yes, presents himself to the police station and requests to see accused number 2. At that time, accused number 2 is totally secluded from any type of a communication with the outside world, not so?
No, it's not so, my lord. I disagree. So,
Okay.
The court will remember just the day before the 23rd of June, he was in court in Phuket. So there was no seclusion. 23rd, we go back just a day before he made his first appearance in Phuket court. So there was no seclusion. I'm just referring to that, and I don't want to expand so that I say
Yes.
more than that. Just a day before he was in court to prove that, and he appeared before the magistrate, and he was remanded into custody on that particular matter, my lord.
Manje-ke ukusuka ngesikhathi kaboshwa ngaso kumsolo wesibili ngazo i-16 leziyana kuyofika-ke ngazo i-23 uma sekuqhamuka-ke ummeli lona, kusho ukuthi manje akukho okwakumhlanganisa-ke nabantu noma kumhlanganisa nokungaphandle-ke basejele noma-ke khona-ke esitokisini, akusilona iqiniso lolo, ngoba-ke ngaphambi nje kwazo i-23 leziyana-ke wayobingelela-ke imantshi lase-ke icala liyahlehliswa-ke.
Thank you. Brigadier, when I say seclusion, I'm not talking in terms of a solitary confinement, as it was applicable in respect of the other accused. I mean in terms of communication with the outside world. By virtue of the fact that he's getting arrested on the 16th, his communication capabilities with the outside world get cut off because he's now in the custody of the South African Police Services. That's what I'm trying to say. That's what I'm saying actually.
Okay, my lord.
Yes.
No. I did not deal with the communications
Yes.
specific with the accused 2.
Yes.
But what I can say, my lord, the fact that the person is incarcerated does not mean he does not have a right to communicate. Those rights are given at the police station.
Yes.
He can ask for the phone, he can ask for visit, and are even visiting hours. Even the officers who
Yes.
do random visits will ask them if, for example, they need to engage next of kin and so forth and so forth. So it cannot be said, my lord, that the fact that you are incarcerated, then the communication to the outside world is cut off completely. You have those rights, my lord, and they are done at the state expense at the police station.
Uma ukuthi umuntu-ke usesitokisini noma-ke uvalelwe-ke akusho ukuthi lokho-ke akanako ukuthi axhumaneke nabantu noma-ke azobonwa-ke akhona-ke lawo malungelo khona lapho-ke esiteshi futhi lokho kwenziwa-ke ngokuthi-ke wona-ke umbuso-ke okhokhayo phecelezi-ke i-state cost akusho ukuthi-ke umuntu akakwazi ukuthi angaxhumana-ke nabantu uma evalelwe.
Thank you. When I say he's cut out from the outside communication, I mean he would not communicate with the outside world as and when he wished. The communication that he would have been entitled to, it was a controlled communication, not so.
Yes, it's restricted. Perhaps that's the term. Restricted. Yes.
Restricted. Yes. Thank you.
Ukuxhumana kwakhe-ke ngiyakuzwa-ke uma ukuthi-ke akaxhumanike ngokwendlela-ke mhlawumbe abe engafisa ngayo-ke.
Yeah.
Excuse me, madam.
No, when you're talking about communication, no?
Yes.
Let's say it's impossible or restricted. I'm just reminded by South Africa's history. Just for interest sake, when Steve Biko was arrested,
Yes, madam.
I was with Peter Jones
Yes.
at the roadblock.
Yes.
You heard me.
Yes, madam.
We all knew after that. Those were involved then.
Maybe there was a snitch there.
I don't know.
There was a
We say-
snitch from the police. He said, hey.
We knew that Steve was arrested,
Yes.
and after 2 weeks he was dead.
Yes, that's the reason why I'm saying. madam. Maybe
No,
there was a
just-
snitch amongst the members of the police, and then he could have called the. Black consciousness. Yes, maybe from one member of the black consciousness and say, hey, one of your members there has been, but don't say it's me.
Okay.
We don't know. But the others is made. Brigadier kuGinininda admits that once he's in the custody of the South African police, then the person's communication with the outside world gets to be restricted. So,
Correct, I agree.
thank you.
Lokho ngiyavuma-ke ukuthi-ke akaxhumanike ngendlela-ke abe engafisa-ke ukuthi angaxhumana ngayo ngaphandle uma eboshiwe.
My lord, I'm not so certain whether the gentleman or whether the person who was complaining about us wasting court time would still complain if we are adjourning before 8 minutes to 1. I'm not.
We
I'm not so sure.
We seated there.
I think you will be
I'm
pushing
joking.
it.
Maybe he was watching YouTube.
I think you will be pushing it too far. My lord.
How long are you still going to be with this witness?
Very long.
Very long.
Very long.
Oh, very long. It's very long. No, push on until 1 o'clock. You see, the state needs to go. Push on until 1 o'clock.
I'm requested, my lord, by Mr. Ramusipili to implore the court that there are points that we need to polish, because once we adjourn here, there is a fear that our colleagues from the correctional services are going to say, no, your time is up, it's our time now, and they are going to take him away, my lord. So then that is going to affect us in polishing the point that Mr. Ramusipili wants us to polish.
That's all.
That's it. That's it.
Yeah, okay.
He's been trying.
Hello?
He's been trying all things. So
Yeah, I can see that. Then fine, let's adjourn because I'm told that there are points that which want to be polished.
Yes, please the court. Thank you.
So I'm sorry about that. But then it means we're not sitting tomorrow.
Yes, my lord.
And on Monday also.
Yes, because I'm writing also.
On Tuesday?
From Tuesday, I'm available until the end of 10.
From Tuesday
Until the end
you're
of 10.
available.
Until the end of
So we must postpone to Tuesday.
Yes,
The 26th one out.
Okay. The 26th then.
Yes.
All right. 26th then of November. Okay, the court will adjourn then.